Well, hello again, everyone. It's Nick Michalak and the fabulous Steve Frazier.
Thank you.
And today, guys, we are doing a commentary for The Strangers, the unrated cut. So, guys, we're watching the one full Scream Factory version, but whichever version you've got, as long as it's the unrated cut,
which is 2 minutes longer, I think.
Right? They're about, yeah. So, regardless of that, guys, so get yourself set up to follow along with our commentary. You turn on your subtitles to follow along with us. And we'll sync up with the countdown, so enjoy yourself. And in 3, 2, 1, play.
You know, I was just looking up at your DVD, the Scream Factory, and they put the quote on there.
Yeah.
One of the greatest line of the whole movie.
Yeah.
They put on
as a tagline.
As a tagline,
yeah.
Which, if you have never seen this movie and you're watching it for the first time, I mean, talk about a fucking spoiler.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that horse shit.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I digress. Okay.
This is giving you kind of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
A little bit. Yep.
Text narration opening.
They didn't get John Larroquette.
No, this is no Larroquette.
This is very Texas Chainsaw. I would argue, if you said, "Hey, Frage, what is your top 5?" I don't know. There's the favorites and the bests. It might make both lists. I think this movie is perfect. This is a perfect, Halloween 1978.
Yes.
Is perfect. The Strangers 2008 is perfect.
And we were talking beforehand. You saw this theatrically.
I sure did.
I didn't see it till DVD. I watched it pretty much at the perfect time of night. It was probably like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Watching it on DVD.
Look out.
And yeah.
You need a new pair of shorts after you
I'm walking downstairs. I was like, I don't know if I want to look out the window right now.
I love that, the first scenes being just kind of the Americana.
Yeah.
And then we have...
moving from the populated suburbs to a little bit more rural kind of spread out.
Look at this shot.
Area. Yeah.
I mean, that's not beautiful.
It's almost a heart shape.
Yeah.
Which is kind of perfect considering everything else.
And I love this style of show the end and then...
I've done that a couple times in scripts I've worked on. And kind of... I tend to use it in sort of a recontextualized format that you see a certain thing out of context, then as the story progresses, you get
the full view
into the proper context. So you play against expectations. What I've done, this one I think is worked towards the end of. We've got a lot of slow setup in this whole thing. That's not directly a horror based thing. So you splash a little something early on to get the mood going. That there is a little bit of a foreboding that you're going to have throughout this whole thing. And then you can spend some time with these characters to get them moving forward.
You want to know what's fucking brilliant about this movie?
Huh?
There is, no dialogue. Well, I shouldn't say none, but in the first...
It's very minimal.
15 minutes of this movie, there's, no talking. It's right on par with There Will Be Blood with... I mean...
Yeah,
which had a whole reel of no talking, by the way.
But as we're getting to we have two very good actors in this whole thing, and they're allowed to emote and convey and play things in a moment instead of having to speak it to the audience.
Well, pictures worth 1,000 words,
exactly.
Right? And this is like a masterclass in script writing.
Mm-hmm.
So... he's got a long face, and she's crying at the red light. You already kind of understand. I mean, you don't know the circumstances.
Yeah,
you know what's going on.
But you understand the dynamic happening.
The tone.
Yeah.
The feel.
Yeah.
I already know more about these characters than the entirety of some of the, Final Destination 4
Yeah.
characters or, whatever.
Yeah, what have you. Yeah, just how they shoot that, where she's kind of
hesitant to even come in the
going
store
back,
or door
back there.
store.
Yeah, that he's a little bit more restless and everything. So I mean, that a lot of filmmakers should study all kinds of films, but just certain things that can show this technique.
The voiceover at the beginning, the non-larriquette, get it?
Yes.
They said that this was his family's home or his summer home.
Yeah, like his father's place, parents' place, whatnot. And the whole based on true events is kind of
loose.
Yeah, very loose. Like the writer-director, he had a circumstance as a kid where someone late at night when the parents weren't home knocked on the door and they answered, and apparently ended up being that whoever didn't answer the door would have broke into the house and stolen a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And there are certain other things, speculation about helter-skelter stuff and various other little things, but nothing was concretely said. So it's more of a marketing thing, which was kind of going around at the time, because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake did that. A few other films were kind of splashing that around as kind of a hook type of thing.
Yeah.
It's more scary if you think it actually happened.
I think even Chainsaw 73 says that it's based on...
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying at this moment in
Right.
time, there was a string of horror films kind of playing into that sort of thing.
What's... Not that I need to narrate to the audience what's
Yes.
happening right now, but how... Like, everything that they're doing and the body language
Yes.
and the gestures...
Yeah.
Just... Like...
It conveys this has been a really bad night.
And you just feel everything.
Yeah.
And they haven't even really done anything. Ugh,
Yeah.
that's gross.
Yeah.
So, they didn't work out the way that I planned. Is a great line.
Yeah.
Clearly you know that something has happened
Yeah.
between the two throughout the day. You don't even know what yet at this
Yeah.
point.
It's a nice way to get the audience to lean further into the story here. Okay, you're not going through so linearly in the story. You're already kind of hooked into the middle of where these characters are. You're kind of intrigued. Okay, what happened? How they break up? What's the emotional through line that they've gotten to here? So it's nice to kind of just get it into the meat of the emotional point of their story, and then you can start filling in like they are here.
And look at the difference.
Yeah.
Look at the chemistry in this flashback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that I guess this is a testament to how good the actors are.
Yeah.
But look at her eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, bravo, everyone involved here.
Yeah.
And I guess bravo to Steven Tyler for, squirting her out, huh? We were just listening to some Aerosmith in the car.
Yeah, we were. Unintentionally.
Unintentionally.
But yeah, the writer-director, he really wanted to get two people who could get you into the story, that they feel very natural, very approachable type of personalities. And I think they just nailed it very well. There are two actors who really weren't much horror genre type of people. They're just really good actors.
Agreed.
Speedman, I think he'd done the Underworld films. Was he in that movie Vacancy?
He may have been, now that I'm thinking about it.
I never saw it, but...
Here's a man after my own heart.
Yeah, a big old tub of it, man.
Yep, and just sit down with a spoon.
Just
and So here's
Melt your sorrows.
Here's another great thing. If you're trying to write a screenplay, you don't need to show the entire process. At no point did you hear him propose. At no point did you hear her say no.
Right.
And we know every single thing that happened.
Yeah, they never show that moment. They get right up behind it, and then they show right after it.
And you have the line of dialogue of him on the voicemail saying, things didn't go the way I planned.
Yeah.
And
then later on, we'll see the engagement ring that after he leaves, she's kind of fiddling with it, trying it on and everything. So that's very smart filmmaking technique.
I mean, oh God. Okay, so here's the mark of a good movie.
Yes.
when the movie's over, my best friend, Randy, and I, we saw the movie together. Okay. It was opening weekend. It may have been opening day, not 100%. We left the cinema. We went to my car, and we stood in front of my car for 30 minutes in the parking lot.
Just talking about
the movie.
Oh,
30 minutes.
Oof. That's good.
Now, when it's over, when our conversation finished, we were like looking at our watches and we were like, wait a minute, it's been a half hour? Like, to me, that is like the ultimate compliment to a filmmaker, is that, you know, I've seen movies in all genres where I've discussed them ad nauseum with, you know, my partner on the way home.
Yeah.
You know, the car ride home. I feel like that, to me, means that you've made a good movie.
Yeah.
And this movie made such an impression on me. I don't know what it was. Well, I mean, I do. It's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I guess there is a lot more talking than I ever give it credit for, but I guess it's not direct talking to the audience.
Yeah.
And again, there's no exposition here.
Right.
They're living their lives.
Right.
We're just happen to be
peeking
viewing
into their lives here, and we're just getting the pieces of information from how things progress between these two.
I mean, I've never been in this situation.
No.
I imagine most of us have not. They're really, I guess we haven't established that they're breaking up.
Right. But there's a major impasse here.
Right.
Where he doesn't know really what the situation is now, what he can do.
Right.
I mean, you get to that point of the question, and it says, and the answer is no. What the living fuck are you supposed to do now?
Right.
I mean,
like, do you even continue? Right. You question whether to continue the relationship.
Right, because, I mean, there's always that in the back of the mind of both of them. It's like, okay, if marriage isn't the end game, this guy wants to get there, what are we doing in this relationship? It's bound to fall apart.
Especially now with this giant speed bump in the middle.
Exactly.
And, I mean, as he just said, he's completely embarrassed.
Right.
Because...
Right.
I mean, I feel like, as much as every girl, you know, dreams of being proposed to, and that's like, you know, there's...
The romanticism of it all.
Everybody kind of plans their wedding and whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like the girls often also...
Yeah.
Like, think about, especially in a long-term relationship, think about, you know, holy cow, what if... you know, when is he going to propose? How's he going to propose? Whatever. Yeah. Clearly, they're still into each other here.
There's something there, yeah.
You know, but clearly.
But there's always breakup sex.
That's true.
Usually that happens before you break up, but whatever the case, however you want to do it, it's your own business.
I don't know. I just feel like it would be... my point I was getting at is I think the guys also put a lot of thought into how and when and where
when does it feel right
to do the proposal?
Right. I mean, obviously, like, he had enough wherewithal. I was like, I want this to be kind of private and intimate. I take you outside. I'm not going to do it in front of all these other people. I want to have this moment just between us.
Right. I mean, okay, first of all, anybody knocking at the door...
At 4 a.m.
4:05 in the morning, yeah. And then asking for a random person.
Yeah.
And unscrewing the light bulb, like...
Yeah.
Like, that's one of those little things, like, he actually paused and said, let me check this light switch, and it just went click, 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 click.
Yeah.
And then he screws it back in, like...
Yeah.
Like, clearly tampering.
Yeah.
But it's 4 a.m, like...
Yeah.
How I get freaked out if people knock on my door at 2 p.m.
Exactly. I don't want to answer the door.
Like, did I invite you over? No? Well, then I'm not... Like, get out of here. You know what I mean?
It's usually someone trying to sell me something.
Right.
Because UPS doesn't ring the damn doorbell.
No, nobody does anything. You know what drives me nuts about this movie? The one thing?
Huh.
They never put the ice cream back in the refrigerator.
Oh, see,
or freezer. And it just... I mean,
no.
why... You wasted a whole gallon of ice cream.
That's no good.
And he's gonna, like, go out and drive around? Like,
he's gonna grab some smokes for her. He's short on smokes.
Well, at least he's kind enough to light her a 4:30 a.m. fire. Hell, the sun's gonna be out soon. And now they're canceling their plans, and Mike's gonna come get them. And again, they don't have to explain who Mike is. Mike was just the man that he called on the phone.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
insignificant. It's insignificant to us. Like, but he's somebody to them.
You get the context.
That's all that matters.
He's a friend who'll come out and give you a lift in the middle of the night. Okay, fine, whatever. Everyone's got one, hopefully.
I hope so,
I hope you do.
Shout out to Randy. Let's hope that...
He's trying on 294 somewhere.
Beautiful home.
Oh, yeah, this location is wonderful. I love the whole single-story ranch thing. Of course, the interior was all done on sound stages. So... Well,
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, watching all the behind-the-scenes stuff, they did the interiors on a soundstage, which was one kind of weird because usually when you do a soundstage, you don't put a roof over the stage,
right?
So all the screams kind of echo out for like 10 seconds after Liv Tyler's done screaming. It just bounces all over the place, and apparently, as things happen. And not everything, not the entire layout geography doesn't entirely match from the inside to the outside, but
sure, I don't think
apparently no one's ever picked up on it.
I've never noticed
until they mentioned it in the featurette documentary thing. So.
I'm pretty sure that I didn't even know that. I thought this was all the interior of the same house.
Yeah.
And every girl has done this.
Yeah. I was like, I gotta try it on.
And then can't get it off.
Right. It's probably like taking this moment, rethinking it maybe, I don't know.
Right. Like,
was I stupid?
Literally and figuratively trying it on.
Right. Right.
And again, there's no dialogue there.
Right.
Everything that we've just ascertained.
There's no motivation for dialogue because there's nobody else here. It's just her.
And it's the body language, it's actions. I'm guessing that the actual script of this thing was probably only about 60 pages long.
Probably.
And had 20 pages of stage direction.
Yeah.
And it might not have even really been that long either. It might,
right, because the writer-director, Bertino, he entered the script into a screenplay contest.
Okay.
And then eventually he won and got picked up by Universal here and everything.
God, that's a dream of mine.
Nice lyrics. Should we go outside?
I don't think I've even ever picked up on
No,
that.
I just noticed them on the subtitles here.
What a beautiful door.
Yeah. But yeah, here it's like, okay, I'm now alone in the house. Someone's again knocking on the door.
And you're going to go answer it? I mean, I guess at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have shit my pants.
Yeah.
And to ask the same question, like,
it gets creepier.
I'm scared right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watching this.
Yes.
I mean, we're in a slightly dimly lit room.
Yeah.
Watching, and I've seen the movie, a dozen times. And the atmosphere still makes me nervous.
Yeah. I mean, again, I was watching this last night again, about the same time of night I was doing the first time I saw it. It's like, do I really want to keep watching this in this hour?
Man, somebody comes along and bangs on my door. Whoo!
Oh.
I would take a poop with my pants on.
Yeah. And again, the entire design of the interior of this house is wonderful because it's just open space.
But
this entire main area,
there are hidden spaces too,
right? But this main area, this whole living room, almost
open floor plan,
floor plan thing—that's a brilliant thing where it's not as much of a hiding place, and it's a one-story ranch, like I said. So it's like you can't run up the stairs and go and live
and do all the stupid shit that people do in horror movies.
There's only a few rooms in this place to really work with, and all of them kind of have their own deficiencies in holding you up someplace.
And that dumb bastard didn't even open the flue.
Yeah. The whole console TV, man.
Yeah, just like Grandma.
Yes.
Talk about an unnerving noise, too.
Yeah.
That. I mean.
Yeah.
They certainly do their job.
Now.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Now I'm terrified.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
And look at her.
Yeah.
How does she not win an Oscar for this? I mean, okay, never mind. But you get what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes.
Look at this telephone.
That's definitely 2008.
Absolutely 2008. We're on the verge of an iPhone, which was the first real smartphone. But I'd say that this was much more common.
Oh, yeah. They're knocking on the window.
Like, at some point, don't you just turn all the lights off and...
Yeah.
Maybe not, because clearly there's...
One thing I'm not doing is looking out the window. I don't want to look out there. I don't want to see nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm scared enough as it is. I don't need to go out there and look and trying to find out where the psychopath is. But that's not me criticizing the film. That's just my reaction of what I would not want to do in the situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love that she's putting on real clothes, too. Like
it makes you feel a little bit more less vulnerable in a certain way.
Right.
That's nice, because she doesn't immediately think that the phone line's been cut or whatnot. She just thinks the guy hung up on her. Because
or they were
situation.
Disconnected or whatever. Yeah,
his reception.
He lost cell service.
She doesn't immediately think that there's something devious occurring. Yeah, here comes the shot. This is the fucking shot.
It's a money shot.
That's why they've turned it into the damn poster on the movie.
I mean,
that's terrifying.
It's fucking terrifying.
Holy Christ.
I mean, first of all, he's in a mask.
Yeah.
Which isn't even a mask, it's a hood.
Yeah.
Second of all, he's standing there in the shadows.
Yeah.
She's doesn't know he's there.
Yeah.
He's just watching.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I like the fact that he constantly is kind of shifting the weight, so you're just a little bit on edge. Is he going to start moving forward and do something?
Right. Is he going to rush the screen?
Mm-hmm. And again, the CinemaScope frame used so damn well. Both things are on the edges of the frame here.
Gone.
And gone. And then immediately says there's no safe place.
I mean...
Oh.
I've heard a lot of people say that they think this movie's okay.
I was looking at the Wikipedia, and there were a lot of critics who did not like the film for their own particular reasons.
I mean, you can get into the whole, like, social commentary aspect of it, about, violence in America and whatever. But, I don't know. To me, you don't have to have, blood and guts all over the place. This movie is, in my opinion, very similar to Halloween.
Exactly. That's exactly my thought process watching it last night. It's like, it's using the same types of things. You've got a methodical killer stalking the victims. There's not a lot of blood in the film. It's all very just deliberate type of stuff, and it's taking its time to build suspense and some tension, and the characters as well. Because this is the era, because the editor on this film worked on the first 4 Saw movies right before this. So you've got Saw, you've got or Wonderful Hills Have Eyes remake we both love.
Yeah,
we're all very brutal, graphic horror films. So Hostels, all that stuff. It was an era of.
Let's talk about fucking terrifying right here.
That's
shit has moved in your house,
and you have no idea what reaction to have. Where do you run to? What do you do in this moment? I'm terrified to move anywhere.
To me, this is more horrifying in a horror sense than, the Saws and Hostels or whatever.
They have their nerve twitching elements to them, but
and I think
this you can relate to.
Maybe it comes down to control.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm in control.
Yes. There is no control. You're not safe anywhere in this movie.
Much like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dreaming, you're not in control.
Right. Right.
And this is not to say that I personally, Steve, the person, is a control freak.
Yeah.
Because I'm not.
But
I think a natural human instinct is when you're not in control.
You feel a little boxed in.
Yeah, you just, I don't know, it's... she gets a knife, good, bravo. Right. She can't run outside because she knows that the girl's out there.
Yeah, and there's no car. Where are you going to go in the middle of the night on a dark highway?
She doesn't know that there's 2 other individuals.
Yeah, right.
At this point...
There we go. There's your reveal.
Like, that's it. I'm out. I would just pass out. This is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And now the door is ajar.
Mm-hmm.
yet she's walking towards it. I guess she's got a knife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
like she has wherewithal to hit the deadbolt. I mean, yeah, we'll get more into it later, but just like how this film has realistic reactions that are also not horribly stupid reactions. They're still characters with enough wherewithal to do something smart in the moment, but they're still paralyzed with terror. Right there, I mean, she's terrified that the one jumped out in front at the door, but she at least had enough wherewithal to lock the deadbolt.
Mm-hmm.
However they got in, at least she's doing something. Where you're not having the audience screaming at the characters in the theater saying, "Oh, dumb bitch, why didn't you do that?"
Right. Why did you run up the stairs?
Yeah.
And
right.
And the record stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, relief, right?
Yeah.
Like, even as an audience participant,
mm-hmm.
a viewer, we just breathed a sigh of relief.
Yes.
Like, like, this is so good.
Yeah.
And I really, it's funny because every time there's a movie that's really good and all we can do is go, "Oh my God, this is so good."
Yeah.
Like, it's usually the shit shows that we break apart and are more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know.
It's refreshing to examine something that works so well.
He also hasn't noticed that she's still wearing the ring on her finger.
Hmm.
And I do love the focus.
Yeah, the rack focus. Good.
I never remember what that's called.
Yeah.
And he's in silhouette, which I think is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Some nice needlepoint on the wall. So did she end up getting the flue open? There's the cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck me.
Yep.
I didn't think she got the flue open. Maybe old boy in the mask opened it up.
Oh, the chimney.
Yeah. Because
she was fiddling around with it, but it still looked like it was
smoke
billowing.
is still right. Yeah, unless she was able to, open it up before she went to the smoke detector.
Uncertain.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
And the fact that he says, "Do you want me to go talk to her?" Like, that kind of says what kind of person this guy is, too.
Yeah. And also, it's like he hasn't experienced the thing she just went through, so he's trying to look at it as rational as possible, maybe a little too much.
He even is basically, he just said nobody came in here.
Yeah.
He thinks she's overreacting.
All right. I mean, she was emotional when they got there, and she's been left alone for a while. You might think it's an active imagination of some kind. I don't know. It's at least like I don't have the visual evidence to see what you've gone through to know it, but now that says a fair amount. Just bash the windshield in.
Maybe even slash the tires too,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it happened, yeah. All like the 5 minutes since he's gotten back.
Well, he also doesn't know that there's 3 of them at this point.
Oh, no.
And all she's ever accounted for is 2.
Yeah. His phone's missing now, too.
And nope.
Good old Volvo.
Oh, yeah. Run him right into the ground. Very reliable automobile.
Yes.
Until something like this happens.
Yeah.
Look at this! I mean, I can't believe that anybody could watch this movie and say that it's not terrifying.
Yeah.
And granted, it doesn't have, blood and guts and slasher
Right.
and...
It was like a criticism I was reading on Wikipedia, the little quips, quotes, what, and I was like, they don't think the story is very good. How much more story do you need in the film? It's as simple of a story as you can get for a horror film. What more do you need to convey as a story for this?
I mean, you don't have to give a backstory.
No.
You don't have to explain the lives of everybody and give every detail of everything.
I mean, again, back to the original Halloween, technically Halloween has more exposition than this film does.
It does.
Where you have the whole thing with Loomis talking about Myers' primordial evil and everything. I mean, then it's like, so much like that, it's simple. It doesn't have to over-explain itself.
In the sequel, they really should have made the killer like her sister, right?
God damn it.
I'm kidding.
God damn it. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I've been watching like a lot of short horror films and whatnot lately. It's like, you can execute these simple concepts so extremely well, even in a short form thing, and then when you watch something like this, you can still make it a full feature-length film. Like, horror is so good with just a simple concept. Some things can be skillfully done with more elaborate stuff, but just like, it just works so well. You can make these scenarios work with something like this. You just have these middle of the goddamn night, a bunch of this trio of characters, masked people, start knocking at your door and start terrifying you. That's a brilliant concept to me.
I mean, I guess the whole concept of a horror film is to... I guess there's different avenues you can go, but create or show these scenarios to make the audience afraid.
Yes.
Whether that be afraid of a masked man, with an axe or whatever.
And have you, yeah.
And sometimes those become more about entertaining, and
sizzle.
Right. But really, your standouts, your classics, your Mount Rushmore, were really all about like creating these scenarios that made the audience just uneasy.
Yeah.
And
tap into something very almost primal in a certain way.
And the idea of being, home alone, I guess, at this point, not at this point, but at least for a little while there, and having, a legitimate threat against you,
right?
An unknown,
feeling like you're in a glass house or something like that, You're completely exposed. You're completely vulnerable. You don't feel like there's any way you can, any move you can make that makes you feel comfortable.
And now he is. Is this the midpoint right now?
Yeah.
Because I would argue the pivot as we talk about midpoints, and I like to try to guess them as I'm watching the movie, and I'm usually
where the story is landing.
Right, I'm usually right. He has just now learned that she's told the truth.
Yeah, he saw his cell phone in the house, battery removed,
and then
I left it in the car.
And then he saw the guy.
Yeah.
And now he knows that she's told the truth, and
now there's something to really be afraid about.
Right. Pivot, midpoint.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
So now, obviously she's still afraid, but he has gone from the defense to the offense.
Yeah.
Hello. And it's almost like he's mad, right? He's like, they're fucking with me.
Yeah. I've had a bad enough night as it is.
Right.
And now this happens.
It's like one more thing over the edge, and I'm not... And they're throwing mud at the house, I think. Is that what that is?
I think so.
Grandma's got a lot of shoes. There they are.
Yeah.
Shotgun shells are very unique looking.
Yeah.
And they also give... There's this reaction that you have to them, I feel like, as an audience member, that just, I don't know, it's like an iconic thing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's more than a bullet.
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's a shotgun shell.
Yeah.
I don't know if I conveyed what I was trying to say very well just now, but there's something about the image of a shotgun shell, I think, that's jarring.
Yeah. It's a widely destructive weapon.
Yeah.
So when you see the shell, you think about the sound of the shotgun going off.
Yeah,
that sort of visceral experience with it.
Yeah, it's unique. You know, bullets are all the same.
Yeah.
But shotgun shells are different.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes you take a pause there.
I don't know how she's not just passed out.
Whew.
There goes the Dell. You're just gonna hunker down and wait it out.
Yeah.
Roll up your sleeves. Here we go. I mean, the whole scenario, you know, you just put yourself in their place.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
like, man, I don't know if I could survive.
Function.
Yeah. I just don't know.
Right. And again, the one great thing in watching this whole thing again, it was like, they kind of cover all their bases on this whole thing, and not in a contrived way. It's like, these strangers... They take care of the phones. They take care of the car. You can't escape. You can't call for help.
Right. This isn't on a whim.
Right.
Like, they thought about it.
Yeah.
Or...
And there's not like, something like you're going to think like, oh, that's a plot hole. Why didn't they do this? Like, they cover that. There's even certain moments, I think it's a little later on in editing, that certain people kind of voice on like, okay, why doesn't Liv go out the front door? So they did something in editing to kind of rejigger the scene to show that she couldn't go out that way because one of the masked killers is at the front door.
Makes sense.
Every step of the way in this film, they address that to make sure these things are covered. You don't have some glaring plot hole of why this didn't happen. You don't make a contrivance for the plot to continue on the same track.
I mean, poor Mike here. He's on the phone, and all of a sudden his car gets fucked.
Yeah. That's what you get for
coming out early and being a good friend.
Yeah.
And now he's walking up to this carnage.
Yeah. Like your other friend Carl, man, you don't call him up in the middle of the night. He's fucking drunk right now.
Well, he even said that about Mike.
No, I'm talking about like your other friend, like your
Carl,
your
right?
hypothetical
fucking
other
Carl.
friend, Carl. He's not gonna be waking up till noon.
No,
he's gonna survive though.
Yeah, darn right.
Because he's unreliable.
Right, Carl don't give a fuck.
You want to be unreliable in a horror film? No one's gonna call your ass out here.
That's right. To this day, I cannot listen to Merle Haggard and not get chills down my spine because "Mama Tried" equals
shotgun in the face.
It's everything is just. They couldn't have picked a more perfect song.
Yeah, apparently they went through like a good 100+ songs to really kind of whittle down what they wanted to hit. And,
a tone, right?
Yeah, a tone, and the producers like we're kind of put off by the certain selections because they're not typical selections for a horror film, but they create a unique identity for it.
They do, because there's something so off-putting.
Yeah, and the fact that this is like the house of Speedman's character's fathers or his father, his parents, whatnot. So yeah, Dad's gonna have some old 30s and 40s vinyls laying around. That's the kind of music they're gonna have, and probably that kind of filtered onto the son, and they kind of had a couple little songs for themselves. So it works. It follows a logic in that way too. This is before the whole vinyl revolution stuff,
right?
So it's really nice.
And again,
yeah,
not to keep hitting the same, thing over and over here, but this scene is another masterclass in how to create tension.
Yes.
Okay, so poor Mike.
Yes.
Is walking down this hallway. He's got Masked Man behind him.
He's seen all kinds of carnage outside. It's like he doesn't know what the heck's going on.
And so look at this. He's got an axe.
Fucking axe.
Like, meanwhile, old Merle Haggard's just singing his heart out here. And, like, the first time we watched this, like, this is a hold your breath moment.
Yeah.
You don't know.
And I like that moment where, like, he just about has a tingle or something, but then he turns away from it. Just those little beats, and then he gets his face shot off. He had absolutely no idea his friend was showing up at this hour.
Right. He was leaving a voicemail, and he has no phone.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to tell himself that it wasn't his friend.
Yeah.
I mean, after all that, and then you add this layer of I just killed my best friend.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I mean, I'm holding my breath sitting here, watching it again.
Mm-hmm. I love this moment too. He doesn't want her to see him.
Oh. I mean, fuck anybody that doesn't like this movie.
And again, I'm just flashing on those moments that we've talked about in certain like slasher sequels, like that's a character. That guy's a bad actor. It's a terrible reaction to a sequence, or your best friend just got killed, and you have this blank expression on your face. This is it. This is what you need to go for. This entire performance here.
I don't remember. We just covered. I feel like we just covered one where somebody's. Oh, you know what it was? It might have been Child's Play.
There was a little bit of that where there's a sequence with Catherine Hicks.
Right, and
with after the
friend dies in their apartment, and she continues to live there. I don't know. It was we justified it by saying that she had so many other things going on that she didn't have time to grieve her friend. Yeah. But at the same, there's been plenty of examples.
There's been plenty of points, in the Friday films and a few other things like that same sort of, not the exact same sequence, but just like your best friend just died and this actor doesn't have a reaction to it, or your father just got killed by Jason Voorhees, and you're such a ill-equipped actor to convey those emotions on screen. This wraps you up in all these emotions. Oh. And it's not just everything else, it's psychological torture too.
That is part of the thing that I love. Like, this is a horror movie for smart people.
Yes.
And, I mean, okay, if you're offended by that, I'm sorry. But, like, people who... I enjoy these cerebral types of films. Movies like Seven and The Silence of the Lambs that... And I'd say this is right there with those movies, and it doesn't get nearly the praise.
Yes.
Movies that have a feel and they're smart. This movie's smart.
Right. Again, that's what I was getting at earlier, where they don't leave stupid things in the movie for a plot hole to be driven through. They're doing everything very carefully to make sure that all the bases are covered from the ends of the killers. The killers are smart enough to cut off all these avenues for them to either get help or escape or anything else.
And you know how they say that if any good movie you can rewrite from the point of view of the villain, I feel like this would be a very interesting one to see it from their point of view. Because, as you were just alluding to, they clearly thought of everything.
Yeah.
And how interesting would it be to, maybe not remake, but remake this movie with...
We're going to do a good sequel with that perspective.
Right, where it's the same movie.
Yeah.
But it's just from their point of view.
And that was just a great sequence there where... It's like misdirection intentionally, that they've got the one out there with the flashlight, they draw his attention, the other one comes up behind him and tackles him and everything, gets at him. So it's like, it's so...
By the way, the clock on the wall said like 4:35, so it's been about a half hour.
That seems a little...
It does seem a little...
It feels like it.
So, I don't know. It's like...
the knock at the door happened about 4:05, he said. So
about 30 minutes, which I feel like is more real-time for the movie audience, but not necessarily real-time for the characters. I've always...
It feels like at least 5 to 10 minutes off.
Well,
I'm not going to nitpick it to that extent, but...
I'm not either, but I'm always curious if they try to do it in real time.
Yeah.
When they show clocks. Yeah. Because most of the time, people go out of their way to not show clocks.
Yeah.
So that you don't run into this
right. I mean, the only
problem.
Only real time jumps I think they have is when Speedman comes back and they're looking through each room of the house and stuff like that, into the garage and everything. So there's maybe like a minute shaved here or there when they're going from one point in the place to the next.
But I also feel like...
Other than that, it's been pretty much real time since the first knock at the door.
But at the same time, you know, he made the phone call. I guess he made the phone call before she took a bath and all that business.
Yeah,
so
okay. A little shaving of time.
Yeah, I mean, he went out to drive for cigarettes. Like, the fact that we're having to think about how to poke holes in it really speaks well to the film, right?
It doesn't draw as much attention to itself as possible.
Something as small as the fact that she changed her clothes.
Yeah.
I feel like if she were in her nightgown, this wouldn't feel as serious.
Yeah.
It would feel more hokey.
Yeah. It would be trying too hard to make it feel vulnerable. I mean, the little fact that she's barefoot. And you barely even notice it, but it's there.
I also love that at no point here has none of them talked. They don't know why. There's no explanation.
No.
And to me, that is such a missed opportunity in most horror films. To just be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to explain everything. Oh, there's where the axe was.
Yeah.
You don't have to give all the details.
Yeah. Leave a little mystery.
I mean, you know, you can make a case for movies that have, you know, had their bad guy had a reason. Mrs. Voorhees, for example.
Yeah.
She had an excuse, or
right.
in her mind, a justifiable reason.
And it fits the character because she is out of her mind.
Right.
Give her a reason why she is.
Yeah. That's fine.
Why she's targeting the camp. Why she's here on this day.
Right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Black Christmas.
The original.
No need to explain.
No.
Crazy guy.
Yeah.
You know, so just kind of, I don't know. There's
different ways to approach it, and in certain scenarios you can overdo it in either direction. It's all what story you're telling, how you're telling it, what perspective it's going for, and just the feel that you're going for. In certain scenarios, if you have a lack of any motivation, it can seem lopsided or it feels like it's unsatisfying. But if you put it in the right context and you drive the narrative in the right directions, it works. Whichever way you want to go with it.
And to the credit of the screenwriters, I mean, the movie is called The Strangers.
Yes.
If we were to know more about them, they wouldn't be strangers.
No, they wouldn't be. No.
Look at this reaction. Can we talk about how great Liv Tyler is in this movie? I mean, when horror folk talk about, you know, the great performances over the years and their favorite heroines.
Yeah.
I mean, I would put Liv Tyler up against almost anybody.
Almost anyone, yeah. Because, I mean, if the character isn't conveying that fear and that terror, the audience can't buy into it.
And maybe that's part of it. Like, maybe it's the circumstances and the fact that she's selling it correctly.
Right.
I mean, because we've all been in movies where the characters didn't react properly, and it takes you, the audience member, out of the scenario.
You can't be any more terrified than what the characters are experiencing in the film. So if they're not up to a certain height of things, you're going to have next to nothing to work with. You're not going to be wrapped in it. Even if this was crafted exactly the same way, you had an actress of a tenth of the quality, it wouldn't work. if someone just couldn't ramp it up and couldn't just show that emotion in what they're expressing. And Liv Tyler, apparently she wanted to be as genuine with it as possible. That she didn't want to see a lot of the actors with the masks on before they rolled film. She wanted to have that immersion into the reality of the film.
I mean, if that scene where she pulls back the curtain and he's standing there in the mask was in fact the first time she ever saw that, and that was a genuine cell, that's magic.
Yes.
Like, you can't recreate that.
You can't get down to the 10th take.
No. And I like that there are these kinds of scenes too, where like the killer guy is like, you know, just kind of over there
examining the scene,
doing his thing. Like, he doesn't really know what his next move is necessarily.
Right.
And at this point, we don't know what has become of Speedman, right?
Right.
All we know is that he was incapacitated by... I love that I mean, it's like the ultimate cat and mouse, right?
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
And just by standing there... Oh, maybe that's where the guy went. Just by standing there and making your presence known is like and then leaving.
Right.
So, you know, they're 1 minute, gone the next.
Yeah.
Where are they? I don't know. What are they doing? I don't know. What do they want? I don't know. Like, this is the perfect formula.
Yes. And again, it works well. The mask thing works so well because you can't read expression. You can't read into their thought process. It's just a blank slate. And that's what's terrifying about it. That there's no humanity to connect with in anything that they're expressing because you can't see anything.
That's a great point. You know what else I was just thinking? I may have complained in previous commentaries before that one of the things I hate is dramatic irony, where the audience knows what's going on and they're just waiting for the characters to, like...
catch up.
Right. I hate that. And it happens a lot. And it can be done well, but for the most part, you know, I don't need every movie to be an episode of Three's Company.
Yeah.
Which all of them were based on that. And I love that show. But what's great about this, there's no dramatic irony. Mainly because of what I just said. We don't know what their intentions are.
Yeah.
They haven't, you know, there hasn't been a reveal on the back end of what they were doing.
They haven't killed anyone up to this point.
That's correct.
Right.
You know, it was friendly fire.
The most they've done is take an axe to the door.
Well, I was going to say...
In terms of a violent...
There was the car wreck.
The car
rear
wreck
end
is the most violent thing they've done.
But
again,
it wasn't done to kill them. It was more of a scare tactic.
Right.
Everything is a scare tactic. Cat and mouse.
To cut them off from escaping.
And the piano, fuck me.
Yeah. Which you know is about 6 feet behind her.
Now, this, I mean, that is great. He zigs, she zags. She narrowly escaped his wrath right there. And again, it shows that he's just kind of walking around.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know what he's doing.
No.
And she's going to hide in here. And, you know, there's several, like, iconic moments in this movie. Almost all of them are with these two characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's the cover shot that we talked about.
Yeah. Look at the fear in her eyes. That's just...
There's the window gag, which is her and him.
Yeah.
And then there's this scene, which is her and him again.
Oh, yeah.
I never really thought about it. But the three probably most chilling or,
standout moments.
Right. Are just these two characters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
I mean...
Just, again... The acting quality that she brings to this thing is just...
I may have just pissed on your rug. I'm sorry. I don't... He sits down on the couch.
Yeah.
Or at the table, rather.
Yeah.
With the ice cream. Eat some ice cream, pal. It's going bad. It's melting. It's almost like he doesn't know what to do yet.
Yeah.
Or does he?
Yeah.
I remember I watched this movie one of the many times. I was watching it with my friend Dave, who doesn't like horror movies. And we were watching it, and this jump scare that's about to happen, he literally screamed in my living room.
Like
there were a group of four of
it's like a cat jumping in
4 or 5 of us
ceiling.
4 or 5 of us sitting in my living room watching this movie.
Yeah, right there.
And
it's earned. That's the big thing about a jump scare. Like, some films are like they're all jump scare and it's really cheap. That built up to the moment.
And it wasn't even him.
Right. It was the other one.
And then she just walked away.
Right. Which again just further drives home like, what is their pathology? What is their intent? They go ahead and stalk them and then corner her and then back off from it. It shows some kind of a bizarreness in their psychology.
She's a girl.
Yeah.
And she just picked up that ring box.
Yeah.
And I just got done talking about it a little while ago. About girls thinking about that day that their guy's going to propose, whatever.
I love this bit with the knife here.
She picked up that box, and for just a moment there, she felt sorry for Liv Tyler.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
I feel.
Oh.
As she's holding that box, she went, oh, this was that moment. They just got engaged. She doesn't know she said no.
No. So that sounds like, well, I'm sorry this had to happen to you, but
right,
there's no turning back at this point.
As a female, like if he had picked up the box, it wouldn't have worked. But she picked up the box, and you could tell the way that she was holding it that it's just little things.
Oh,
and fuck anybody that doesn't like this movie. Because, I mean,
the first line of dialogue from any one of them.
And what a line! You're gonna die.
See, that was the moment there where they digitally added that one masked one into the doorway to show, okay, she can't run out the front door because it's blocked because of that.
Brilliant.
All done in post.
Brilliant.
Because they just stole a shot from here, stole a shot from there to construct that moment in the film.
And I like that the sun's coming up too.
Yeah.
In some ways, this is similar to Texas Chainsaw 2. Also, not part 2.
Okay.
We can discuss more about that when we get down that road. Whenever. We were going to do that like 2 years ago. That's all right. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Oh, I'm fucking... I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I don't know if the people that don't like this movie or had harsh things to say about it, do they just not have, is it a short attention span or patience? They don't have the
patience for it? I don't...
You know what I mean? Like, they need that...
gratification every 5 minutes.
Something.
They need a stab kill. Again...
She drags him past the dead body.
The only person that's been killed in this film is from friendly fire accident. Even people who want to call this a slasher film, it's like, okay, I can see that because there's a certain approach to it.
Right.
But it's not a body count film.
Well, and that's probably what prompted this whole, like, home invasion, like, torture porn kind of, you know what I mean? Like, let's make it a social thing. And it's like, you know what? They just told a good story, people. They just told a good story. That's all I asked for. Tell me a story. And tell me one I can believe.
Yeah.
And I believe this.
Yes.
More than maybe any other horror film I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
This is the most believable.
This isn't evil incarnate. This isn't Jason in the woods for 30 years and comes out finally to kill people because his mother got beheaded by someone or whatever it is. It's...
And was it... I may have been on one of our commentaries that I came to the realization... Look at this.
Yeah.
This realization that what I like about a horror movie is it could happen to me.
Yes. And this is the epitome of that. You don't have to go to a summer camp or
and there it
somewhere else. This happens in your home.
Right there is, to me, one of the best movie quotes of all time.
Because
you were home.
That's the most terrifying reason. There's no other reason. These people are just deranged and just selected you at random because you answered the door.
He sees that she's wearing the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just start passing out Oscars, please.
Like, this is almost like Die Hard in a certain way. Like, McClane gets to L.A. and they're on the verge of a divorce or something like that, and then they go through this horrific situation,
right.
And then it's all kind of forgotten in the shadow of this terror they've gone through.
There is a decent amount of criticism about the unmasking.
Yes, because they did shoot footage where they showed their actual faces, but they decided in editing, because they did test gradings, and they found that the version where they didn't reveal the faces was more effective.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't even know why that would be considered otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Again, it goes back to my whole thing of, like, with the masks on, you can't read anything into an expression. It's just a blank slate of something. I think it works so very well here that if you reveal them with their masks off, you have to play. If you were going to show the face, you have to play it very, very particular. And that's not saying one thing or another about the actors who are on the roles, but it's just the blank, emotionless sort of absence of whatever it is in their psyches that just conveys with the masks on.
And now they're each going to take a turn.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of nice that even you were watching an unrated cut, but they're not getting exploitative about it. They're not showing the knife piercing into the flesh or anything. It's not gratuitous. That's not what it's about.
This wasn't directed by John Biegler. And now we call back to some of the shots from the opening.
Yes.
I mean, she's clearly moving.
Yeah.
the rose petal.
Yeah.
There's still just a couple sprinkled.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what it would feel like to get stabbed.
I have no idea.
I mean, I know what it feels like to, cut my finger.
Yeah, yeah.
But to have that feeling on my internal
a
organ...
2-inch laceration on your stomach or something.
Ugh. I suppose, and I didn't really think about it. I guess there could have been an element where you thought maybe the Speedman was in on it, and that like the man in the mask was Mark.
You could have played it that way.
And I'm so glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
because that was something that kind of drifted in my head when early on when she's alone in the house and they're coming after her and all that type of stuff, and then
he denies the fact that
he shows right up shortly after that. You could have played that. You could have played that ambiguity, or
especially
something like
because
that.
he said there was nobody in the house.
Right.
A lot of people don't like this either, and I think it's fucking brilliant. Because they're little, like, Jehovah's Witness boys.
Yeah. It's like you're there, they're selling Amway or something. Door to doors. Either that or you're getting some other annoying motherfucker walking up.
Are you a sinner? And then...
Yeah.
Sometimes?
Sometimes.
Fuck.
Ugh.
I mean...
And I love that little line. It's like, it'll be easier next time. As if this is the first time they've ever done this damn thing.
Right.
That just some random night they decided to go out and do this.
And the killer's still out there.
Exactly. It's one of those great fatalistic horror movie endings.
And here we have the callback to the beginning and that brilliant shot right there.
Yeah.
They're both wearing belts, which I appreciate. I mean, to have well, clearly we know that the kids called 911. What a great callback to the beginning.
Yeah.
So good. I feel like this is a little more extended than was in the...
Oh, it's great.
Roll credits.
It feels like the end of Halloween 3. Just Atkins, stop it!
Yeah.
I just love a horror movie that ends that way. It just gives you that last earned chill up your spine. Just leaves you a little bit shaken to it at all.
Yeah, it's like a stinger, but at the same time it's...
It's a payoff instead of one of those cheap little things they throw on there just to do things like when you have... It's just the way it's constructed and how you build the characters and how you pay it off. It feels much more earned that way. To have that moment right there.
Then a freeze frame at the end of Halloween 2018.
Yeah. Just some random thing and whatnot to just throw in there on a whim. Just like when you construct it and just have the moment build and get to that point. It's really well. It's really well done.
These credits are going awful slow.
As I said right before we started, these credits go on for 9 minutes.
9 minutes.
Fucking minutes. See, let me show you the.
Yeah, our timestamp shows 7 more minutes.
7.5 minutes of credits left
after we already started.
So, what about that sequel, huh?
Oh my god.
You saw it, I didn't. So go ahead.
What? Okay, so there was talks for years and years.
Why it took them 10 years? I have no idea.
Liv Tyler was in talks for a long time. Yeah. And you know, every maybe 18 months or so, we'd get a little like, hey, here it comes, like
a little flare up in the sky,
starting up again. Yeah, this could be a thing. And then we'd get all excited, and I was very much against.
Turn around again, and
I was very much against having Liv Tyler in it.
Yeah, because that removes the randomness of the whole thing.
Right.
Or she becomes, again, another kind of Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley character, like, I'm going to actively go out and hunt these people down.
Oh, like Laurie Strode?
Yeah. It removes the entire element of the first one, the dynamic, the thing that made it compelling. If you're going to have the character return, then either they come back around to hunt her down, or she goes out actively to hunt them. It's like it just it changes the whole thing around and doesn't. It removes the.
There's no logical reason that she would be involved in it at all. Unless it was like a cameo at the end where, you know, she says, "Oh, hey, this happened to me."
But
you know what I mean.
But
why
would that be?
Why?
Yeah,
why?
It forces the story to become a contrived. From just the ways we're rationalizing it here, it just any way you would want to interject it into it, either A, alters the dynamic too much, or it becomes too contrived. To have it that she randomly becomes involved with another random attack by this trio.
So we watched the sequel. I watched it with Randy, actually, my BFF, and I've actually like forced it out of my memory.
Sorry,
so I can't even really speak to why it was so bad, other than the fact that it was completely contrived and didn't.
And what I've heard is like it abandons this approach.
It does.
And tries to become kitschy 80s throwback movie.
Yes, it does. There is not the random act of violence aspect to it. I mean, I don't even remember if it was supposed to be the same 3 people.
They're in the same masks anyway.
It was so bad that like we almost turned it off.
So you didn't watch it at theater? You watched it at home?
No, we watched it at home.
Okay, well, good enough for you.
Yeah.
Less money to pay.
Oh yeah, I will watch most horror movies in the cinema.
Yeah.
That's like the one genre, and I don't go nearly as often as I used to.
No, me neither.
But it's the one genre where I will force myself to, like, you know what? It's the new horror movie. I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah. Give me an occasion to go out.
It costs me $6. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And arguably, every single movie is better in a cinema than at home. So, you know, that's fine. But I couldn't even justify going to this sequel because I was like, I don't know. It's just the fact that they spent 10 years dicking around and coming up with this and that and the other thing.
You didn't strike while the iron was hot. You wait until it was freezing cold.
And really, it doesn't matter what you would have done. It would not have had the same
impact.
Yeah. Because it's so random.
Right.
Because you were home.
Yeah. There's no other hook to have with it, to be honest with you.
You can't...
Without making it more...
Right. And then, like, the next one is what? Because you were home? Like, you just capitalized the you?
Yeah. Unless you do some... Like a lot of these horror sequels do, or mainly slasher ones, where you want to expand a backstory, a mythology. You want to explain too much.
Right. Or...
There's too much of a compulsion to do something more with it. And so either you get it contrived, or you're going to be explaining way too much backstory, and then that just ruins the pureness of the original film that we have here.
Yeah, I'm trying to even come up with a scenario that would make sense.
Right.
And I'm failing.
Unless you just put it into a different location. That's kind of the only way to really change it up without making it betray the approach and the style of the original film. But then,
right. I mean, you could go anthology style and have some other random act of violence.
Right.
You know, in some other setting, some other circumstances.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't even.
Yeah.
I can't even think of anything.
That it's so hard to paint within the lines of it would obviously make you believe that anyone who does do a sequel to it is going to paint so far outside the lines because they don't want to be restricted.
I would encourage everyone, even if you're obviously watching us on YouTube, thank you for watching. Mm-hmm. Thank you for telling your friends. Thank you for everything. Commenting and whatever. I would encourage you in the next, 3 to 4 minutes, whenever we're done with these credits.
There's about another minute.
Okay. To switch your Google search to Merle Haggard, Mama Tried, and just listen to that song. Try not to get a chill up your spine. And, I mean, I grew up on country music, like, of the late 80s, and when it was like, to me, Garth Brooks is the king of everything. But there is something to be said about old school country, country and western, as they say.
Yes.
Merle Haggard, Mama Tried. Dial it up. It's great. It's great. And you'll never hear it the same way after this movie. I love it there, too. Laws giving effect there, too. That's great. Here's where they say, oh, yeah, this is actually fiction.
Yeah.
And it actually wasn't.
Because if you actually examine the end credits of a film that's really based on true events, that text is very much different.
Yeah, it is.
There's no purely coincidental thing at the end of it because, well, there's nothing purely coincidental.
Right.
You're based on something that actually happened, and this is a fair depiction of what actually happened.
Yeah. When you think about, like, the fact that Hannibal Lecter and Leatherface, those two films are actually based on the same person.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Which route am I going to go?
Yeah.
They're both based on true stories and the same guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Fucking brilliant.
Yes.
I hope you agree with us.
Yeah. And if you have your own comments about that silly sequel, throw them behind. Throw them in the comments.
Yeah, okay, all kidding aside, we can joke about Jason X. We may do Freddy versus Jason just because it's bad. I'm not doing the Strangers.
Pray at night. No, okay. Okay.
I can't do it.
It's on the no list with the Elm Street remake.
Yeah. Yeah.
It never happened.
Elm Street remake is on the barred list.
I can't imagine sitting through that either.
We are going to just pretend that it never happened, and we're going to live here in 2008 and be happy for the rest of our lives.
Yes. So, guys,
thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much. So, we'll be continuing our Scream franchise stuff.
Oh yeah.
We've had some people who said that they actually like Scream 3 for something. They're eager to hear our own opinions on it. So we'll have our own. We'll have a very interesting time with that film.
Yes, we will.
Then we'll upswing with Scream 4.
Oh, so good. Yes. R.I.P. Wes Craven.
So guys, thanks so much. We'll be back around soon. So take care.
Nighty night.
Bye bye.